Welcome to Neutral Voices. I'm Dr. V, and this is In Depth, where we dig deep in the trenches of what matters. And tonight we're talking about the wonderful, beautiful fathers because it's Father's Day coming up, right?
Yeah, in a way.
No,
Father's Day.
listen, thank you for tuning in. We're actually talking about deadbeat parents.
Parents.
Now, I know some of y'all want us to really focus on deadbeat dads,
Yes.
but we can't do that.
It's parents.
Not this season. So we're going to be talking about the deadbeat mamas and papas.
There you go. There you go.
So before we do that, I do have a video,
Okay.
and I would like for us to watch this so we can have a deeper understanding about the support system.
Understand that you may have questions about the child support program. What is it and how does it work? Basically, child support is payments that one parent makes to either the child's other parent or legal guardian to help with the costs of raising a child. Parents and guardians can receive services from their local child support office. Here are the top services the program offers. Open a child support case. Locate the other parent. Establish parentage. Establish a support order. Set up payment. Enforce the support order. And review the order. To open a child support case, you'll need to complete an application with your local child support office. And if you receive help from the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families program, also referred to as TANF, check with your local child support office to see if a child support case is already open. The first thing we need to know is where the other parent lives or works. There's no guarantee we'll find the other parent, but the more information you provide, like the other parent's date of birth and social security number, the easier it'll be. After we find the parent, then we can establish parentage, if it hasn't already been established. Next, we can establish the child support order and determine the amount of payment. We use child support guidelines to calculate how much a parent should contribute to the child's financial support.
Hey, listen. Now, I know somebody sitting here at this panel know more about this subject than I do. So let me swing it over to E. Let's talk about child support. No,
Wow.
wait, I'm just joking.
You know
But
the funny
listen,
part
wait,
about
wait,
that?
wait.
No, ain't no wait. Nah. You want to throw a blow down?
E, I got a question for you, though, for real. No, it comes from the video.
Nah.
Here's a question. Do you really have to find the parent before you can do anything?
Well, paternity has to be established.
Established, yeah. That's
Yeah, I
the
think
first things
that
first.
that really changed like in the mid '90s. Because prior to that, somebody could just say,
So,
so paternity mid '90s paternity has to be established.
so I'm sorry. So some of these shows when they like, I thought he was the father. He's not. Who else? I got these other three guys.
Right.
Let's find out. So the woman is really trying to establish paternity. So but can she get help out? But she can't get child support because we don't know
She
who
can't
the
get child
daddy is.
support, but she can
nothing
get
until
She can get-
TANF.
Okay.
But once the father is deemed, and they mention that he's gonna have to pay back.
Okay, that's what I was getting ready to say.
Yeah, you
So
gotta
once
pay all
they
that
find out who the father is, he has to pay the system back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So any type of government assistance a woman is on, the father has to pay all that back. Medicaid, food stamps, TANF, all of it.
Food stamps not anymore,
Oh, they don't have to do it no more.
but
Well, they-
Medicaid and TANF, yes.
yeah, they gotta pay
Well-
that. They gotta pay that back.
Wait. Well, do fathers, daddies, baby
Well,
daddies,
hold on,
whatever.
time out.
I just want to know, but do they know this?
Hold on. Let's
Okay,
not
go
just
ahead.
put deem the fathers.
Well, okay. So both
This-
parents,
It go on both sides.
both parents.
So
So,
you have
I'm
to
saying, do they
understand-
know this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you don't know, you will quickly find out
Real fast.
In the video, as they were talking about the child support system, it's a very intricate system. It's confusing to a lot of people because a lot of people don't know the system, but it's a complicated system, and it works for the system versus doing it works for the participants of the system, because the parent, whoever the parent is, the father or the mother, you're supposed to have all the information, date of birth, and they find this. But once the order is established, that's when it becomes troublesome for the participants. Because once that order is established, for it to change, you have to keep going back to court, going back to court, going back to court. But if you don't follow any parts of that order, there's legal ramifications for that. So once that order is the thing that you have to pay attention to.
And see, that's one of the biggest things. Once the system deems you as deadbeat, now they beaming on you.
Yeah.
They coming to get you
Well-
every which way. They in the state of Indiana, they'll take every license you have,
Yeah, but hold
even
tight.
your fishing license.
Hold on, hold tight.
He
because
mad
you
about
mentioned
that fishing license. No, I'm just
because,
kidding.
because I want to give people the terminology.
Okay,
now,
yes, let's-
we think deadbeat dads is a common vernacular that that everybody uses. It's just thrown around, but no, that's actually the precedented term that the court deems on a deadbeat father or mother. It used to be deadbeat dads. That's how it came. But now I do believe in inclusive languages and certain things. So now it's the deadbeat parent. And it's actually called the Deadbeat Parent Punishment Act. That's what it is. And what it's saying is a deadbeat, or how it's defined in the terminology is used, is a non-custodial parent that is not financially taking care of their child or giving the custodial parent finances to care for a child. So that's what deems them deadbeat. They focus on the money part of it. But there's a lot of different things that can contribute to you being a deadbeat.
Yeah.
But for the courts and for the sake of the terminology and what is said, to be deemed a deadbeat, you have to be delinquent in financial obligations to your child.
Okay, and I like that you said the courts.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
courts terminology of
Yes.
deadbeat. And then here's my terminology of a deadbeat. No, I'm just kidding. So this is some information that I did. See, you are a deadbeat if. So let's see if this shoe fits anyone. If you do not parent your child, so whether that's discipline, etc., rewarding, celebrating, you're
Right.
not parenting your child, teaching them right from wrong. If you do not pay child support, we already hear that one. Do not spend time with your child. Do not provide different things for them, not just the child
Right.
support for financials, but other things. But yet you make people think that you're doing everything to take care of these children. So, and you are a deadbeat parent, because I hope I didn't say father,
No,
but
you
you
said
are
parent.
a deadbeat parent if you haven't seen your kid in months or years.
Ooh, preach that.
Yeah, you're a deadbeat if you do that. But I'm gonna go back to the court, the system deadbeat. Everything you just said is considered
You
deadbeat.
agree? Okay.
I agree on some degree.
Okay.
But if in the state of Indiana, guess what? If I just follow the court's orders, if I just pay my child support,
You're a super dad?
I don't have to do anything else.
Wow.
That is
I
true.
don't have
kinda-
to do. I don't have to do nothing else. As long as I pay my child support every week, I don't have to do anything. I don't have to buy clothes, shoes, do nothing for that child.
That's true. And a
Kinda
sad
trifling.
But I mean, but let's look. You got to look at both sides of the
Okay,
spectrum.
I got you. That's-
So I mean, if I'm be a deadbeat on this end because I don't pay child support,
Yeah.
or it could be a deadbeat on this end by paying child support and
You're
doing
not
nothing
anything
else.
Well, so there are some good deadbeats out there.
Good deadbeat?
So
Help me understand this.
I know some good deadbeats.
Okay.
So what you're saying, well, I don't like any of it. It's all crazy to me because I wish the two people could come together and work it out and come up with some agreements, and this is what we're gonna do. But on either side, the reason I said there are some good ones, sometimes the person may not be paying because maybe they're on disability, maybe they can't go to work and they can't get out and about, maybe they're incarcerated, maybe something happened.
Right.
And
Life
so-
happens.
Yeah, life happens, car accident, and that's what I'm saying. So they're disabled, they can't get up. So
I mean,
sometimes,
at that point, if you disabled, they can't touch that shit.
right, but they may be calling you a deadbeat because they haven't looked into what's going on, and now you're not.
No, I mean,
you lost your job.
Well,
is what I'm saying.
well-
Because when COVID happened, a lot of
Yeah,
people
well,
probably became
And I
deadbeats.
truly get what you're saying, but once you're deemed, and this is the catch-22. This is why it is so intricate and it's so confusing. So say like that person was up and something happened. and maybe they got behind a little bit before they, really got off. That parent, I think after 3 to 4 missed payments, I'm not sure, but I think it's somewhere around there, if I remember correctly, you can fall in the category of being a deadbeat because you're delinquent. So if you are already 3 or 4 behind, that makes you get arrears, which is interest. So the sad part about it is that doesn't go away no matter what your situation is. You may not have to pay currently, but if that's building interest, you're still considered a deadbeat because you still have a debt to pay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Has that changed?
see,
I mean, I'm in arrears, but I'm not considered a deadbeat.
by
Because
who?
because I pay my child support. Now I'm gonna be.
But when you
quite-
say
hold on,
when you
hold
say
on,
I'm not
hold on,
considered
hold
a
on.
deadbeat, you
But
saying
see,
it as
here's-
if there's a
it is.
there's a light that come on that says now I'm a deadbeat.
It
In the
is.
court it is.
Oh, Lord.
It is.
Kind of like that. They flip a switch
Okay.
and they tell you.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean?
Come on,
You
E.
thought it was a joke,
Educated. Come
but
on,
it's
tell us
actually
about
real because at the end of the day, I went through the same thing through COVID. Went to court, and the prosecutor attorney had the nerves to ask my kid's mom, "Hey, why do you think he wasn't paying child support?" You know what she said? Same reason you wasn't paying your bills because there wasn't nobody working during COVID.
Yeah.
Let's make it
Okay.
make sense. So when it's all said and done, if in that duration of COVID, yes, a lot of people wasn't able to pay, but it doesn't mean that you wasn't able to take care of your kids.
Right.
Right.
So I mean, and like I told the prosecutor attorney, and this is exactly what I told her in front of the judge. Since you want to be in my business, since you want to play father, when it's time to go pick them up, you gonna go pick them up. When it's time to they're calling for money to do X, Y, Z, you gonna pay that bill. You gonna give it to them. When it's time to buy shoes, you gonna do it.
Right.
And she looked at me, and I said, "I'm for real."
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you coming at me because of because of everybody when people weren't working during COVID.
Yeah.
When it's
Right.
all said and done, are you at the basketball games?
Exactly.
Are you at the doctor's office? Are you at the? I just went on, and the
Yeah.
judge was like, "Okay, Mr. Rice, we get it." I said, "No, you don't, because if you got it, I wouldn't be here."
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just real talk.
And I find it troubling because the system is only concerned about the financial or the monetary part and deeming somebody a deadbeat or calling somebody a deadbeat and not looking at the whole spectrum of, and you brought up a lot of that in what you were saying, and Eric is right, where if I just pay the money that you assign to me, but I don't give any care to the children, I'm not a deadbeat in the court sides. But in reality, you are, because you're not. Child support, I can say this, is not just in dollars and cents.
And exactly, and that leads to my next thing, and that's why does it even matter? And so, even for fathers that think, okay, she being petty, she taking me to court again, etc. She trying to get more money. I personally feel I would rather for the father to spend the time and spend more time than spend more money.
Right.
If I can take care of my child, we good. But I would still love for that father. And I'm saying this, ladies, excuse me. I don't know, but I'm saying this without a child. And so, I'm sure somebody would say if she was in this position, she would not feel that way. But I'm saying I think I would rather have the time spent.
And that is a very astute observation.
So when I say, why does it matter? I'm looking at the other things that happens when there's a separation and those kids don't get to spend time with either or parent. Mm-hmm. They don't know that family, the extended family. And so when they do come around, it's like they feel out of place. And, and to me, that's robbing that child of so many different opportunities when there's that separation and the father don't, extend.
Parent,
Yes.
Yeah. But I can answer why in 2 ways.
Okay.
And why does it matter? And you brought up point one. First point is anything that's wrapped up in the court system, it's a racket. It's a money-making thing. Not only it makes money. So, but secondly is I could agree with you when you say if you're not going to be present, then you have to, there's things that, if you're not going to take the initiative, then yes, but if you're present, that's a different thing. But if you're not going to be present, you know, she has a right because there's more she has to do. The parent has to do the sacrifice.
Yeah.
So if you're not a present parent outside of child support, that's why I say it's more than dollars and cents.
Yeah.
You know, the time that you invest and spend with your children, that is child support. Taking them to and fro, getting them, you know,
Yeah.
doing what you know, making sure they're nurtured and making sure that they have something, you know, morally you are instilling or you're pouring to that child. That is more important to the dollars and cents. And I think that would deem a lot of people more of a deadbeat because they're not
That's-
actively in those children's lives.
And that's what I see. That's why I was wondering. So somewhere in there, somebody allowed the court system to create this title and to say this is what it means, and to make money the be all when it shouldn't be.
Right.
Well,
And so when we look at the effects of, you know, what happens to that child, to say when the father is not there versus the lack of money, you know, you can that missing father or mother, I have to keep that straight because I'm so used to people always saying deadbeat dad.
Right.
Sorry. But when that parent is absent, that kid, that child can suffer from abandonment issues later and low self-esteem and feeling like there's something wrong with me, the reason
Why
that
did he
I
want me?
have one parent, etc.
Right.
And so, you know, I'm surprised the court systems today haven't figured that out and said, you know, even make visitation mandatory too.
Well, it depends on. Well, they do have mandatory visitations. As far as once you go through the court, you have to go. You know, you're supposed to do it every other weekend, or how many other days that
Y'all agreed
set.
to.
Yeah, the
Okay.
judge agrees to. You know, to do. I mean, that is in place. That part is in place. But what's not in place is using that child as a pawn. That's the biggest thing that need to be put in place. Because a lot of parents, I mean, a lot of moms and a lot of dads use that child as a pawn.
Absolutely.
And so once you use that child as a pawn, now it becomes a real big issue. Because if you don't give me X, Y, Z, you can't see your child.
I was just getting ready to say, give me an example. So you're saying if you don't give me,
Yeah, regardless
something.
if you paying the child support, he needs shoes. If you're not gonna give him no shoes, you can't, or you're not gonna buy him no clothes, you can't. Well, here's the funny part about all of that. Like I said, if I just pay my child support, that's all I legally have to do. Now, what really gets in the biggest part about that is now I'm paying child support and I'm doing my fatherly duties, so I'm double paying.
right?
Because now, me being who I am, hey, Dad, can I get these J's? Yeah. Okay, let's go get them. Hey, Dad, can we go do this? Yeah, let's go. So, regardless of I'm paying child support, guess what? I'm also buying clothes, buying
Now,
shoes.
does that come off of
No,
the?
that don't come up.
But what if you're in the rearage, as you
That's
said?
considered
it's
a
still-
gift.
Considered
Oh
a gift.
my!
It's
Yeah.
considered a gift.
Anything you do
The
above and
system all
beyond
messed
your,
up, isn't
Yeah,
it?
the system is jacked up. So
Okay.
regardless of what you do outside, I mean, your child support, anything you do outside is a gift.
Wow. And you know, it is just kind of pathetic just because you mentioned them being pawns.
Yeah.
I'm saying that they are used that way, but I know women that would manipulate a man and say, you got to come see me or come hang out or come get this dinner or whatever I'm serving before you get if you want to see your child this weekend.
It was,
And I'm saying,
I won't see him.
yeah.
but I'm saying, so you're right that people do.
But he
use
did
it.
mention in E's case is when he says it's set. Most of the time, the visitation is set during divorces, and just having a child and you're within that, they don't set visitation. They let you go by the Indiana Parenting Guidelines, and in the Indiana Parenting Guidelines, visitation is not directly connected to child support. You don't have to pay child support to see your children. You don't. That's in the
Okay.
Indiana Parenting Guidelines. But, people think that if you're not paying, then you don't get to see your children. But that's not what is stated in the Indiana Parenting Guidelines. And I think that's where the pawn issue comes a lot of times. When you're not taking care of them, why you want to see them, and that's not the issue. So, but I'm not saying you shouldn't take care of your children. But we as some men, when we have children, I'm not going to take care of the child if you don't have time for me. You said the woman,
Yeah, man,
if you ain't got time
man
for me,
will do the same thing.
yeah, I'm not going to. Your child needs shoes, not my child. Your child needs shoes. What you gonna
Okay.
do for me? So that's the deadbeat whole mentality of it. It's not about the child. It's about me or you or what you can benefit out of the situation.
And isn't it amazing? You never know what's going to happen in the future. Look at Shaq Daddy. I'm saying, he want to kick himself in the butt. I don't know if he paid support or he spent the time. It don't seem like
didn't do it.
he didn't do it either. Is that it?
Yeah, he said he was derelict in it.
See?
That he didn't do a whole lot of it, and he's trying to make up, but you can't make up.
You can't make up for
You can
lost
build
time.
new memories, but you can't make up for lost time.
Yeah.
But it's a double-edged sword because like you say, even if I'm taking it above and beyond my child, it does not matter in the court eyes.
Yeah.
I can
Not
still
at
be
all.
considered it, and that's where we got to understand the physical, the court idea of a deadbeat and the actual court of deadbeats.
Right. And don't you think, so we have to put some type of ownership and accountability on the individual, the man or the woman, the parents, right? So I'm saying it's not fair for the parent that dogs out the other parent for the lack of support, pain, or being present to the child. Imagine being the child and your mom is always dogging out your father. It's still your dad.
And that's it.
And you just paint such a horrible picture of that other spouse.
Yeah, and let's talk about this. We're talking about deadbeat parents. Deadbeat parents don't just have to be outside of the household.
That's right.
It's right in doors.
There's some deadbeat parents that's in the household.
In the house.
And the unfortunate nature, and this might ruffle some feathers. We might get some emails. We might get this. But here's the thing. I saw on Facebook, and you have to take things with a grain of salt. It said there'd be more deadbeat mothers if it wasn't for the government.
Oh my goodness. Exposed
right.
is what you're saying.
Yes. And here's what I'm saying. I know there's some deadbeat fathers that do this too, but the deadbeat parent that has custodial care of the child or children that only wait for the system to take care of them or the child support. They make no efforts to better themselves. But as we said before we come on, it could be a father, it could be a mother. Every weekend, they out in the club. They dress to the nines. Hair done, nice cut, nice clothes. Their children, bare minimum. Or
Right.
their children
That's true.
get it when, they have taxes, they get lump sums, but they're always in the club. They're always out. They're always, and
Is
then
that why some dads don't want to pay that child support
because
to the woman because they feel like she's going to get her hair hooked up and nails done and the kid's not going to get...
something, I honestly believe one of the things that it should be done through the court system is just my thought process. When you paying child support, they should be able to drop a receipt, period. If I say, show me the receipt you bought this, that, and another with my child support money, it should be dropped. I mean, then boom, there it go.
that's a novel idea, but I don't think it's ever.
It's never gonna happen.
I'm
Because
not
it-
in
But
disagreement with
why
that.
do y'all say it'll never happen? What
Because-
does it take to get it started?
No,
like,
because the thing about it is, regardless of what it should go both ways.
It should.
Regardless if I'm paying child support, if I keep every receipt that
That you pay?
that I pay out outside of child support, that should go on my child support. But do it? No. That's a gift. We told you to pay X, Y, Z.
But-
But this is my child. This is come from me. This is my flush.
well, I'm just saying, E. So, I mean, with all of that and talking about paying child support, have you ever thought about getting custody of your children anytime?
And my kids are too grown to me.
Well,
being
now I'm
custody of.
saying, had you ever thought about it any time during?
me personally, I did. My kids, even growing up, open door policy. They had keys to my house.
Okay, but you
you-
never thought about just getting full custody.
I mean, why?
well, I just thought about
I mean,
it
as
because
far as if me and her working together, hey, she got a house, I got a house. Y'all can come and
you
go.
felt
as
like
you
she gonna be the best parent. It was
No,
interesting.
no, I don't feel that she'd be the best parent. It's just
It worked.
That's
it
the way-
works.
okay, I was gonna say that's the way it worked out for you
yeah,
guys.
it works. So at the end of the day, they got keys to my house. Guess what? Ain't no dad. Can I come over? Why? This is your house.
Your house too. Exactly.
And you say about getting custody, and I just saw this in the news. Kevin Federline, if you know who that is, that's actually Britney Spears' ex-husband. He has custody of their children. And Britney Spears is really, by definition, a deadbeat mom. She doesn't see the children.
Oh, my goodness.
She barely take care of them. And he's trying to move. He has custody. He's trying to move from California to Hawaii or something. But she is derelict in signing the papers and going to court to help him.
Okay.
So
That's the
it
problem.
happens. But here's another issue of a deadbeat. And E hit on this and you talked about this. Say like I have a child by a woman that has other children.
Mm-hmm.
I have a gravy job. I'm making so much money. She'll take me to court each time. I get a raise, my income increase.
Right.
She'll
So
take
you
me
get
to
a
court.
raise, she get a raise.
She get a raise. But there's other fathers that she won't
Oh,
take because she knows that, and I'm just giving an example that she knows, so she'll take the one that will do versus going, and because she knows it. So,
we want the best father.
but that's still a
mean,
deadbeat mentality because you're
it
not
is.
trying to move yourself, your children, mother or father. We're saying deadbeat. You have to have the intent of the child, what's best for the child to move the child forward. If your best intent is not for the child, either in the home or out of
That's
the home,
right.
you are a deadbeat.
Absolutely. And I think that's what people need to focus on a lot of times with parenting.
Yes.
So good parenting means what's best for the child.
Right.
And so that's when the two parents come to an agreement without the court system. I thought it was interesting that it says 50% of fathers actually gets custody when they go to court. They actually win the cases. 50%. So that's kind of why I was asking you, why don't you, or why didn't you back
Because
then?
I had them just as much as she did, so it
Yeah.
really didn't matter.
Can I answer that though? I had said at one point in time, if my children's mother and I were not together, the children were going to come with me. I solely believe that. I not only did I, and it's not that, and I don't say this in bragging, or any demeaning, but I think, I could have been a better parent. I believed I would have been a better parent. No, legitimately, I would have been. And
You don't like your kids.
Exactly.
I don't. But
how you gonna be a good parent? Don't even like your kids.
But I'm just saying.
Let's make it make sense.
I'm just saying. But what I'm saying is, I would have been that father that would have been the one that said the kids can come with me. And it's hard, but it's really hard in Indiana. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, but it's really hard in Indiana. Indiana does favor the mother.
Yeah.
So-
Well, we're going to take a look at some hard numbers. And I just wanted to say it was interesting to me. Fathers are granted custody 18.3% of the time. And listen to this. Of the 2.2 million people incarcerated in the United States, about half are parents, and at least 1 in 5 has child support obligations. You see, and that's why I was saying. So some of them,
that actually, your child support actually stops.
and that's what I'm saying. So, but that they may be on the deadbeat list, and they may not necessarily be a deadbeat. They just can't take care of their responsibilities at this time. But let's look at some hard numbers. So I actually have a chart of numbers, so you can look at these with me. And I'm just going to say a few of them. So father's presence. This is not about the mother, but in the house or out of the house. This is talking with the child about the child's day. 93% of the men in the house will do that versus 31% outside of the house. Helping the child with homework. 63% outside or inside the home will help, and 10% outside. 54% will take the kids to and from activities. They're in the house. And out of the house, 11%. Reading to the child. I didn't even know fathers. No, I'm just kidding. 60% will do that. That's in the house, and 19% outside. And then the other one, which is interesting, is bathing, dressing, and potty training their child. 89% in the house and 25% out of the house.
I think that should be our focus when we talk about deadbeat. When you don't have that connection, if you're not giving that on top of the monetary support,
Right.
that's where you're derelict, and that's where you're a deadbeat.
Yes.
because you're not enriching that child in any other way. You're robbing that child of, that enrichment, that experience,
Yes.
that connection. So that's where our main focus should be on the deadbeat, and not just the financial part about it.
That's what I thought. That's why I thought it was interesting, and people need to be reminded of all the other things that fathers, mothers do. And just because you're out of the kid's home doesn't mean you have to be out of the kid's life.
And I told this new father this just recently.
Right.
It doesn't matter what this it doesn't matter what the situation is between you and the mother. You can never break up with that child.
That's right. You shouldn't.
You shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
You and the mother, that has no more play into it if y'all not together.
Right.
Correct.
It should just be you and that child. So your focus should be on that child.
Absolutely. And then what's wrong with making a phone call? I'm just saying a lot of fathers. So when I was looking at that chart and it said 27% they would visit, and that's just 27% of the men visiting. But the phone calls less than once a month was 31%. And I thought that's ridiculous.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it
I'm
doesn't.
not on that list.
I'm just saying most people got cell phones now,
And
even if it's a text.
even before cell phones, my parents got divorced in the 70s, and
Yeah.
I saw my dad practically every day,
Mm,
several times a week, if not every day.
right.
Right.
And some people will
so-
blame divorce
Yeah,
for that. But I would say that's a poor excuse.
yeah.
Very
Yeah.
poor excuse.
Listen, I don't know what time it is, but
Well, we can
I
get up
feel
out
like
of
we
here.
better. I feel like we better get out of here. Here's
Yeah.
to you if you've been hanging out with us. This is Neutral Voices. Before we go, I want to read this. This is beautiful, and this is dedicated to men. Beautiful is the man who leaves a legacy, that of shared love and life. It is he who transfers meaning, assigns significance, and conveys in his loving touch the fine art and gentle shaping of a life. This man shall be called Father. And that's beautiful. That's by Stella Payton. And this is Neutral Voices. Thank you for hanging with us this evening, and we will see you next time.
And always protect your mind.
Thank you, Ian.